Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be back and talk about football. As always, I know it's been a minute since I've made a video. It's because I've been so busy working the Winter Olympics and it has been such an amazing experience. But of course, it has taken a lot of time, but now it's officially over. It's officially concluded. Let me know if you watched the Winter Olympics. It was so much fun, literally one of my favorite experiences ever. So yeah, but now we're back. We're going to be talking about the Champions League in this video. As you can tell by the title, we have much to discuss. I've kind of caught up with everything. I watched the matches yesterday, a couple of those yesterday, and then I've just kind of read and seen what has been happening because I think football travels fast. There's so much going on, and I just haven't really, I've caught up with most of everything, I guess. So if I missed anything, if you want to, give me more info, let me know in the comments. But I think in this video I'm going to talk about just a couple matches that I've watched, like two that I watched yesterday, and just some stuff about the Champions League because I love the Champions League. Who doesn't love the Champions League? So let's kind of talk about that. First, I think I'm going to talk about the two matches that I watched yesterday. I know we had more than two yesterday, as always. I think PSG and Monaco also played, as well as Benfica and Real Madrid. So those I watched parts of, and I just went back and forth because they're all at the same time. But I also did watch two matches full length, and I was really looking at these matches. Juventus and Galatasaray was one that I definitely watched. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Juventus when it comes to Serie A, so I was very interested to see how this match was going to go. I didn't watch the first match they had for these matches. I didn't watch them because it was during the time that I was working the Winter Olympics. So I watched the second match that was yesterday. So this one was very interesting. I remember I sat down, I was like, wow, 5-2. We have a lot of catching up to do. And I think that it was a game that had so many comebacks, because if you're watching, you know that Juventus had, they equalized at the end. So the game did go to extra time. Juventus had a player less because we had a red card. I believe it was early in the second half. So of course that's not good for the team. I think that Juventus fought really hard. I think they gave it their all. And I'm really proud of Juventus because when you're playing with one player less, you have to catch up and to close that gap of 5-2. And I think I'm just proud of everything they did, because going to 5-5, it's not easy, especially with only 10 players on the pitch. I think that Galatasaray, of course, they were like, we cannot let this result go on any longer, and they scored those two goals in the extra time, which sealed the win. And with the final result of 5-7, they move on to the next round. But I have to say that this match was so entertaining to watch, so intense. Obviously, we had that comeback, red card, all that drama, but we also had just really great football. I have to say that the two goalkeepers were really great in this match, and the same for the match I'm going to talk about next. It was a great game. I really enjoyed it. I think sometimes you just watch a game for the beauty of watching it, because I just think that it was a great one. It was really cool, and happy for Galatasaray. Very bummed about Juventus, of course, but we got to keep going. This is the Champions League, always full of surprises. And I think the next one I want to talk about is Atalanta and Dortmund. This was the only match that was not at the same time as all the other matches. So of course I watched this one, which was perfect. I wish all the matches were at different times, but I know that doesn't really work because there's a lot of matches. But I did watch Atalanta and Dortmund. Atalanta won in this match, even though Dortmund was the one that had that advantage from the first match, 2-0, and then Atalanta caught up, and then Dortmund, and then Atalanta. It's a lot of going back and forth. So talking about that element of the comeback again in the Champions League, which of course makes it so entertaining. In this match, I wasn't cheering for a specific team. It was mostly just watching it for my own pure entertainment. And when I feel like every time I watch a match just for entertainment, I'm not that stressed. I'm like, let's see what happens. I just want a really great game, and that is exactly what we've done in this match, a really great game. It was cool because I think that it shows just how unpredictable everything is. I think Dortmund started off with, okay, we have the 2-goal lead. We don't have to go as hard in the beginning. We can just try to keep this result, especially through the first half, and they'll be good. But I think that Atalanta just was you know what, we got to give it our all, and that's exactly what they did, which ultimately led to that win. They won with that penalty at the end, which is wow. I feel like every time you're in the position of having a game go to a final penalty, in the last, those last minutes, and it's I think it's tough for the ref as well, trying to decide that, because you're gonna have people that are gonna support that, and you'll be like, great, you stood on that, you you gave that penalty because it was a penalty, and there's people that are going to say it's not a penalty. Like, that is exactly what happens all the time. But I think that, you know, that moment that it was being talked about if it was a penalty or not at the very end, it's obviously always going to be controversial, but based on what I saw, I think it was a penalty. I think it was the right decision there. Let me know what you thought about it, of course. But people are going to have their own opinions about it. But I think that personally, watching the game as somebody that wasn't like cheering for a specific team, I think the ref made the right decision. It was a penalty, which led to that win for Atalanta, and they're through to the next round in the Champions League. A team I want to talk about that has really surprised in the Champions League, and I personally haven't seen them play as much like in a match that it's like live. I've watched like highlights and I've read about and I've seen just so many videos about them, is Bodø Glimt, because they've had great performance in the Champions League, which unfortunately haven't really been able to catch up with all of them. But I think that I've seen enough to say that they're a team that has really surprised this Champions League. They're a team that I'm excited to see what they're going to do next. I think you have teams that you always expect to win because they have the players, they have the fame, they have the money, they have the titles. But when you have a team like Bodø Glimt come and challenge all of that, it's so exciting. It just shows how exciting football is, because I think that every season we have a team from each league that surprises, and I think in the Champions League, that is Bodø Glimt this season. It's awesome to see, because I think they're a team, based on what I've seen so far, and just what I've seen previously, they're a team that worked so well together, and they're always just pushing and fighting for more. And you can really see that. And of course, that translates in the results that they're having. You know, they not that Inter, which is crazy and so difficult to do, because, you know, they're Inter. They're a team that has just that entire reputation. And I just think that it's awesome to see. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do next, because they've truly surprised, and I like to be surprised like this. I think regardless of who you support, when you have a team like Bodø Glimt and other teams that have surprised in different leagues, you're excited. You're like, wow, like, I want to see what they're going to do next. Or like, good for them. Like, this is exactly what we want to see. So excited for Bodø Glimt and how they're going to continue in the Champions League this season. Thank you again so much for watching and for all of your support, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye!